Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, welcome to the next video, which is, in this occasion, apple cider. Which to me is just cider. Some people say Perry's a cider too. No, pears, cider, Perry. Different. Totally different. But yeah, today's one is cider. We've got 15 to go through for the different ones here. Whew. Don't worry. Please remember, when you ever drink responsibly. 15 is not necessarily responsible, but I will only be having a small bit. And for the sake of interest, I'll also be using a little cup so you can see the colour and any fizz, obviously, in that. So, excellent times. When it came to sort of the normal facts and figures for cider, well, quite frankly, they're somewhat short on providing many. You have the energy, and some of them generally have ingredients, but not all. That said, the Lidl ciders don't even say the energy. So, though I'll be giving you the normal highs and lows for that, I'm currently waiting for the customer services team to get back in touch with me to give the official figures for their drinks. Hopefully by the time the video goes up, you'll have some figures popping up and they will say whether they were actually higher or lower. But for the moment, I'll give you the figures as otherwise provided. So to start with, in terms of our facts and figures, we've got price as ever, which does apply to all of them, of course. And the winners here are Aldi, Lidl's standard drink, and Morrisons standard one, all coming in at 11 pence per 100 millilitres, which is not too bad at all. Opposite end of the scale is Marks and Spencer's Somerset traditional cider at 50 pence per 100 ml. So quite a bit different there. And as I say, the next figure up is energy, and we're going from Aldi's 34 calories up to the massive Waitrose #1 vintage cider of 58 calories. Like I was just saying, obviously if Lidl get in touch and say their figures were higher or lower, I'm sure you'll see a nice little thing on the video going bing bing bing, these were higher or lower. But for the moment, that's what they are. Obviously these, being cider, do have a certain percentage of volume of alcohol to them. I'm not going to rate the best and worst, simply because that really does vary quite a lot, on some people wanting a lower one by preference and some wanting a higher one by preference. I'll let you know throughout for each one, and I'll let you know as they come up. And the figures vary from 4.5 through to 7.3. Okay, I guess it's time to crack on. Hey. First up is Coop. Full flavour apple cider, 4.5%. And equally, most of these do say serve over ice, serve chilled. To be honest, I prefer mine just room temperature. There we go. Golden sort of colour there. Quite a lot of fizz. Cheers. Not the best one to start with, quite frankly, as far as my tastes go. I prefer dry ciders. That was just naff, quite frankly. Flavour, I'm just going to say it's 25 for that. It just didn't thrill me in any way. It's, yeah, somewhat of a chemically not so nice flavour. Flavour accuracy, apple cider, huh? No. I suppose it is apple in the background there, but that's going to be a 5. Not good. Texture, when it comes to these ciders, Obviously there's not physical texture, but obviously I'm going to take into account how bubbly it is and even how it kind of feels on the tongue and such. With that one, if you like a sparkling, yeah, I don't see any issues with that. It's not kind of like a champagne dance on your tongue kind of one, but most of these, no doubt, will follow suit and be 8s. Okay, and that one, yeah, I'll say it's 8, you know, just in case there is some of that tickles all the right buds. And next up is the second one from Coop, their Irresistible one. Tillington Hills British Cider. Irresistible, eh? And this one being the 2019 vintage. 6% on the volume. Let's hope it's better than the previous one. Okay, there you are. See, that's quite a bit darker. Not a dark one, but darker by comparison. Nowhere near as fizzy either, which I kind of prefer. Don't want to be too gassy. Okay, yeah, that one is more, yeah, it's grumpy. It's a proper harder, nicer one. Quite like that. Similar to Old Rosie, if you know that one, but if not, it is definitely more on your stronger bodied kind of flavour there. 40 for flavour. It's good. I mean, not perfect, but certainly worthy of 40. Flavour accuracy. Yeah, you definitely know that one's cider. I would say definitely on the scrumpy end. Pretty sure they say that's a premium dry cider. Yes, it is dry. Yes, it is quite nice. Flavour accuracy 18. Because you know when it goes on to scrumpy, it ends up, you know, you can become away from the being that appley scrumpy cideriness. But so yeah, 18. Texture, it's leaving a bit of a fizz on the tongue. Not too bad. So, as I say, probably could be finding most of these are going to be 8s, and this is carrying on that trend. Right, next up, Strongbow, one of the no doubt leaders within the UK for cider. Strongbow is 4.5% on the strength. There you go, back to that pale end of the spectrum. Quite fizzy again. Possibly not quite as fizzy as the Coop one was when freshly opened, but fairly fizzy nonetheless. Bit sweeter. Flavour, it's okay. To me, it's a fairly standard run-of-the-mill cider. 38. You know, it's not a great one for me. Just a fairly bulk standard. Flavour accuracy, not massively terrible, but not great either. So, for accuracy, that's going to be a 12. You know it's apple cider, but it's not a big, bold apple cider flavour. Texture, bit on the waterier side, but with a fizz. 8. Next contender is Magners, which again, one of the other big names out there. Magners is 4.5% as well. There we go, that's sort of a middling orange hue. Flavour there, yeah, it's strange, you know, that's flavour there is, it's not quite as I remember. I quite often enjoy Magners, but that one, perhaps it's because it's a can versus pub and so on. Perhaps the pubs have it all wrong. Perhaps the can has it all wrong, and I should be drinking bottles. One way to find out, I suppose, would be go to the actual factory and find out. But in this particular instance, I'm going to judge it by what it is here, and that's not much better than the Strongbow. just a slightly different profile. So I'm going to give that 38 as well for flavour. Accuracy, well, I say it's quite a different one by comparison. Bit better than the Strongbow though, personally, I think. So it would be a 14. Texture, probably a little bit bubblier on the tongue by comparison to the Strongbow. And we'll stick with that as being a 8. What a surprise, eh? 8. Next contender today is Tesco's, and they're rather sparsely decorated or informed bottle. Okay, there's a couple of bits of writing on there, but a 5% apple cider. That's definitely on the yellow end. Quite a bit of bubbles, but not over enthusiastic. Flavour, fairly, I suppose, comparable to Strongbow, but tad more chemical. Drop it 1 to 37. Flavour accuracy, 12 as well. It's, no, 13. It has got possibly a little hint more apple to it than a 12. So yeah, 13. Texture, nothing to write home about. So we're going to stick with the standard 8. Okay, for our following submission, we have Marks and Spencer's. Now, these are done by Weston's cider mill, so hopefully should be pretty decent, because the Weston ciders are rather nice. Not featuring in this particular lineup, other than through being made by others, or making them for others even, sorry. So this one's, yeah, cider, straight and to the point, from the Weston's cider mill, expertly blended from Marks and Spencer's. Here we see, 4.5% for volume. There we go, again quite a bright yellow colour to that. Though it looks fizzy, it didn't fizz up too much. Possibly a bit less fizzy, but see how it tastes. None too shabby. That's all right, to be honest. You know, all satisfy the taste buds quite well. Bit tad on the watery side to the flavour as well, but it's definitely apple cider there too. Not too bad at all. So that's going to be a 40, I think. Yeah, well deserved. Flavour accuracy, yeah, as I say, you know that's a fairly typical apple flavour cider. They've done well to maintain that. So that's going to be 17 for flavour. As I say, there's a little back note of wateriness to it, but yeah, good one. Texture, as I say, it's stick with the 8s. It's not anything massively different from any of the others. Right, next offering is again from Marks and Spencer's, and this one is their Somerset traditional cider. This time from Sheppy's cider farm. And again, expertly blended from Marks and Spencer. 4.8% on this one. There we go. That's yellow one, but it seems a clearer, brighter one by comparison. Similar kind of fizz as to the previous, so hopefully it'll taste as good, if not better. Well, that's quite the tang to it. It's almost, I say, going towards the scrumpy end, but more like a vintage one as well. You know, where you got that mature flavour flowing from it. Quite good. 43. Flavour accuracy. Yeah, if you are happy with, as I say, the slightly scrumpier, the drier end, the more vintage, then you're going to enjoy that one, I'd say. Accuracy, 18. Texture is ever nice and quick over the palate, as all the rest have. So 8 as well. So now we come on to Sainsbury's offering their original dry cider, which is a 5%. Yeah, 5%. That's a brighter yellow for you. Maybe a bit more fizz, but not too crazy. Not too bad, really. Not quite as nice as those previous M&S ones, or the previous M&S one. I'll tag along at 39. There was a hint at times of the chemical side to things, unfortunately. Flavour accuracy, that's 12. You know, it's a cider, but as I say, there's that slight twang, just a subtle one of chemical behind it, but not too shabby really. And texture, will stick with the standard 8 there. Okay, now moving on to Aldi's submission, called Taurus Original Cider, made with premium fruits. There you go. You can see there's quite a bit more fizz on that one. Quite yellow, in the middle of yellow, you know. Not quite golden, but well, I suppose golden, but not a bright, but not pale either. Well, that almost had the sort of the hoppier notes of a beer. Unfortunately, that won't go down well with me. I don't drink beer. I mean, it started off well, but came through on a beer end, so it's gonna be 35 there. Flavour accuracy, 8. That's possibly not what you want from a cider. It's, yeah, not right. Texture though, yeah, we'll stick with the 8. It's, as you saw, a bit fizzier by compared to some of the others, but it is what it is. And our next cider takes us to Waitrose. Brighton bold at the top there, 4.5%. Apple cider, a fruity, medium dry classic cider with refreshing apple flavour. Well, it's a cider, I hope so. I know you can get fruit ciders, but yeah, quite a bit of fizz, quite a golden rich yellow colour there. Well, that's quite a bright, light flavour. Almost reminds me of Bulmers, which, you know, it's doing an alright job there. It's a little bit of a watery down flavour, which same as what I always find with Bulmers as well. They have that kind of a watery taste to them. So it's 38. Flavour accuracy, I'm going to say, yeah, it's definitely a smooth, crisp cider. But there's that, as I say, there's the watery end to it. 12. Texture as ever will be the 8. No need to deviate on this instance. Okay, we've got a second offering from Waitrose now, in the form of their English vintage cider, made with 100% fresh pressed juice. Medium dry, lightly sparkling cider. Slowly matured it in oak vats for a richer flavour. Could be interesting then. Yeah, made by the old Westons group again. And as the top of the bottle indicates there, it's a 2019 vintage. And this cracks in at 7.3%. It's got that lighter fizz, but that's soon kind of died off. Quite nice. Very bright, kind of definite yellow. Yeah, you can tell that one's the more vintage style. You know, that slight drier end. Do I prefer the other one? Possibly so, but that's not to be putting that one down. It's going to be 41, I think, for there. The initial sort of flavour brings through something else as well. reminds me of something. I can't for the life of me think without drinking quite a bit more. Should I possibly? Oh. No, but the flavour accuracy, yeah, it's it's a dry cider. Interestingly, we're gonna give that a 15 though. It's good, but we're not into a great winner. Texture, of course, will be the 8. Okay, now it's our submission from Lidl. And, they have theirs under the name of Woodgate Apple Cider. A crisp and refreshing amber dry cider with a distinctive fruity flavour. 5%. There you go. Quite fizzy, on the lighter end for that. Very fizzy. Yeah, I know. It tasted fizzy. I think this will be coming down to being a 37. It's not remarkable in anything really. Yeah, it's just kind of a bit of a wishy-washy one. And so with the flavour accuracy, I'll probably be a 10. I mean, you can tell it is there, but it's a bit washed out. And of course the texture is going to be an 8. Okay, we have another submission from Lidl. This time Woodgate's Reserve 2019 West Country Vintage Cider. Slowly matured from a single year's harvest. Crafted in the West Country. Clocks in at 7.3%. There we are. None too fizzy. Again, that quite bright yellow colour. Cool, bloody hell. Quite a chemically sort of hit. It's 30 for the flavour. I mean, I guess I was trying to hit into the dry end, but it feels like it just went wrong when they made that one. They found some bad apples. Flavour accuracy, I suppose it's there as being a cider flavour. However, with everything else that's going in, it's going to be an 8 for that. And of course the 8 on the texture as well. Find our next contender in the form of Morrisons, their medium dry cider. A juicy blend of apples, 5%. There we are. Again, quite a bright yellow. Fair bit of fizz, but it's died off pretty quickly on the top. Flavour's not too bad. 39 or 40. It's going to be 39.5 then. Flavour accuracy, yeah, you can tell that's a medium dry. Not too bad, not amazing. So be 13.5. I think it's got the apples. No, it's knocking down to 13. I'm afraid it's got the appley flavour, but it's not overwhelming. But accurate enough to be a medium dry. And of course the old texture is going to be 8. And we end this instalment with again another Morrisons. This one is their best, and it's the only one that I could find in a box format. Not that I was particularly looking for box formats. West Country Vintage Still Cider. And so this one rocks in at 6.8% on volume. There we go. As I say, it's a still one. Obviously you got some bubbles on the top where it came spurting out from the box, because this is the first one. I wasn't able to obviously hold it at an angle, but let's give it a try. Yep, that's a vintage sort of one. Heading towards that scrumpy dry end, but it's got a sort of a watery back note to it as well. Interesting. Flavour 43. It's a mix of different flavours, as I say there. Yeah, it's dry, watery, but quite nice. Flavour accuracy, yeah, I'd say it has that vintage flavour, and again you can tell it's a still because you don't have that tingle across from the old carbonation. Possibly not quite as heavily dry as you might imagine. We'll go 16. It's quite nice there. Of course, texture will be 8 as normal. Yeah, it's got some good to it. And of course, the old Westons again getting in on the act. Okay, and there we have it, the end of the cider round. The loser there is Co-op 43. Oh dear, that wasn't a good way to start the round off, was it? Yeah, I guess you need to up the game there from your standard one. The winners, on the other hand, and it's winners. It's Morrisons Best and the M&S Somerset. Well done to you. You had a nice flavour behind each there, and well worthy of winning the cider there. So congratulations. There we are. I hope you've enjoyed this show, and I look forward to have you watching the next time. Of course, as ever, you know the YouTube ways: like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to let me know if you have any other suggestions of what you're after seeing in the next videos to come out. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.